my bed wasn't built. My cupboard was falling off the hinges. Dressing table, like this. How am I paying X amount and this is what you can deliver me? It's your girl Tony back again with another video. Welcome back to my channel. If you didn't know, this is cup of tea, so you know, take a sip or whatever, you know, sit back and enjoy the video. So for today's video, I'm gonna be talking about what to look out for when you're picking accommodation for next year. I thought, you know, you guys can learn from my mistakes, you guys can learn from what I did in the past, and you guys won't have to go through what I went through. I've lived in private accommodation, I've lived in university provided accommodation, I've lived with strangers who became friends, I've lived with friends who were already, like, I've lived with people who were already my friends, and then I've lived by myself. So I've experienced it all. So I've come to tell you which is best, or not necessarily which is best for you. So before I get into this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. So guys, in my first year of uni, which was back in 2017, was it 2007? It can't be, was it 2017? Yeah, I was 18 in 2017. So when I was picking my accommodation, I was so nervous because I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I used to watch all these videos on YouTube, like living with people or roommate horror stories and all these kind of things, and thank God, like, I never had like any horrible roommates or anything like that, but like I was scared to start uni and necessarily like living away from home. Like, I'd never been apart from my parents or lived outside of uni, but I mean, not lived outside of uni, lived outside of Manchester. So I was really nervous, and like I wasn't trying to like live with like bare people, or like, do you know what I mean? I remember before I started uni, I was praying, I was like,
Heavenly Father, please let these people be good people, let them be wholesome, let them be this, let them be that. Like,
you know what? God answers prayers. God answered prayers. Like, the people were lovely, loved them. The accommodation, however, was just not up to scratch. It just wasn't it. Like, I remember walking in when I first got into uni, and like I saw the way like it was all set up, you know, the bed was like just bare and like the cupboard was there, and I remember like looking at my dad and my mum, I was like, you want me to stay here? You want me to stay here? I was like, I can't do it. They're like, oh no, like let's rearrange it, and God bless them, they fully like moved the cupboard, rearranged the bed, my mum like changed my bedding for me, made it all look nice, and then I was like, okay, cool, like you guys can go. So then obviously they left now, and then obviously I had to put my own little on the accommodation. So I did make it look nice, you know, I made my room look nice, I made it look as homely as I could. And as for my flatmates, like my flatmates were lovely. Like it was three girls and 2 boys, and it was really cool. Everyone was calm, and I feel like because we were strangers to each other, like you're automatically like respectful of each other's things. Like nobody wants to be that flatmate that's like leaving food out or doing this, or like left the kitchen in a mess or didn't clean up after themselves. Like I feel like my flatmates were kind of respectful, and even if someone was a mess, like it was cleaned up quickly. Like I didn't have any issues with my flatmate in first year. So all in all, my first year experience was really good, and I can tell you a bit more about living under student accommodation. So in first year it was a student accommodation, and it was so good. Having an accommodation provided by the university is like, we used to have like a tent in our front garden. There was every Monday was like a wine and cheese night, and then Wednesday was like a games night. Basically they used to feed us. It wasn't like home cooked meal, but it was like a little something. Like you'd go downstairs on like Wednesday night and there'll be like food in the tent, or like I think during Freshers Week we had like a little barbecue or something. Like they just gave us food. Like it was really nice having like accommodation like owned by the university, because like they do a lot for you and they keep you informed about what's going on in uni. And obviously when like the pandemic started and people were like, I'm not coming back, the university were reimbursing people, but these private landlords, they don't care about you. Second year. Before I get into second year, let me tell you how are the best things to do when looking out for accommodation. So obviously, first of all, you want to know how far away is it from your university campus. For me, I kind of felt like you want to be close to university, but then you also want to be like close to civilization as well, because my university is like on its own. Like there's nothing around it, like there's no shops around, or there's nothing like fun around. So like if you live right next door to uni, like you're practically away from like everything. So for me, it was important to live not too far from uni, but then also close to like town or to like shops, and just so I can get to places. And like come on, like I know I came here to go to uni, but like you need a life as well. When you're looking for accommodation, how far away is it from town or from uni? Whichever one's more important to you. Do you want to live close to town? Do you want to live close to uni? That's the first thing. Bills. Is it all bills included, or is it partially bills included, or like you need to know that as well. And then obviously shared, how many people are sharing with, how much is a week, like all that stuff is just stuff that you need to know. So in second year, I lived in a 5-bedroom flat, and it was all inclusive, and I think it was 110 or 100, it was between 105 and 115 a week. I can't remember exactly. Let's say it was 110 pounds a week. For that price, it was decent. Everything was calm. The only problem was, not even the only problem, there was many problems. The first problem was you start to see the issues of like not necessarily having like a university like accommodation. So for instance, like landlords are just not up to scratch. Like we'd have problems. Like let me tell you, when I moved in, on the day I moved in, my bed wasn't built. My cupboard was falling off the hinges. Yes, the cupboard door falling off the hinges. Bed wasn't built. What else was wrong? The dressing table, like this, that was broken. What else was wrong? There were so many things wrong with my room. I was like, how am I paying X amount and this is what you can deliver me? Anyways, so obviously you had to get that sorted out, and they're not sharp. I remember how long it took me to get a door, and then when I got a door for my wardrobe, it was looking. Anyways, when you have like maintenance problems and all those kind of things, when you're like under private accommodation, they're not sharp with it. Bearing in mind, you're paying for this service, you're paying for this. They're not sharp. They're not sharp at all. They'll just leave you to it. They'll just be like, oh, we'll come when we can, or stuff like that. Or like the toilet always used to get clogged. My biggest issue with that accommodation was the bathroom was just ugly to look at. I'm the type of person, it's like I like to, you know, stand in my bathroom, you know, do my skincare, wipe my makeup off, you know, wash my face, brush my teeth in there. First and second year, I promise you, I was brushing my teeth in the shower. I'll brush my teeth in the shower, do everything, and then run out. I didn't even want to, as long as I was there, I didn't want to stay there. Like I just wasn't trying to be in the bathroom. Like my room was my safe place. I was always running back to my room. I didn't want to be in the kitchen. I didn't want to be here. Flatmates in second year, you need to ask yourself this question. So in first year, when you're making friends, you know, you're like, okay guys, oh my gosh, we should live together next year, whatever, whatever. Your relationship might change a bit. Do you know them ones where you realize, I love you, like I love you so much, like you're such a good person, but like I can't live with you, like I can't do this, like we can't live together. Music is playing at 3 a.m. in the morning, or like speakers are being blasted at like 3 a.m. in the morning, or like you don't know what you're going to find in the toilet. Like it was scary. And it's not even like it was always their fault, like or my roommate's fault. The accommodation itself wasn't the best, but it's just like I was afraid to use the toilet. Like I would come home needing to use the toilet and I'd be like, I don't want to. Cleaning was our biggest problem. Like when I tell you, like us girls, so it was 3 girls, was it 3 girls? Yeah, it was 3 girls, 2 boys. It got to a point where we took us girls, we took a strike. We said we're not doing it anymore. We're not cleaning. We're not doing nothing. What, that plate you left there 2 weeks ago. You will find it there tomorrow. You will find it there tomorrow. Before you know it, something has grown in that mug. Something is growing in that mug. And and then what would annoy me or annoy us so much is that we'd have enough of it. We'd be like, nah, okay, we're gonna start fresh, we're gonna clean. We even went as far as to make a cleaning rota and be like, oh yeah, on this day you do this and this person cleans this. And like, when I clean, I will go all out. So I'd clean everywhere. I clean the entire kitchen. Oh, this is beautiful. Ask me how long that cleaning lasted. Not a week would have gone by and then it would have been dirty again. And I just said, oh, I can't do this anymore. I swear, from like less than a month of living there, I said, I'm living by myself. I cannot do it any longer. I have to live by myself. Do you know the ones where you just like things to be how you left them? Like, and it's even the hiding, not necessarily hiding, but because like you don't want people to take your food accidentally and all these kind of things. Like, I will be storing eggs in my room. Eggs. My Nutella would be hiding in my room. All my food, I'd have a corner just for food in my room. Like, who wants to live like that? Do you ask yourself, do you want to live like that? Do you want to be storing rice in your room? Like, do you? Because that is what it will come to sometimes. And it's not even necessarily to say that, oh my gosh, they were a bad person, like they stole my food. Like, we didn't steal each other's food. Like, we were very, very like considerate. Like, we'd be like, oh, can I have this? Or like, oh, can I borrow some sugar? Or can I borrow some this? And like, yeah, go for it, whatever. But it's like, do you know when you just want to have everything is yours? I can leave this there, and like, you're not even too fussed to clean up messes that you know are your own. But you go to the kitchen, you see some food in the sink, and you'll just look at it like, ew, what is this? Like, but if it was you that left that there, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's just like the rice that I had yesterday, and it's just gone a bit mushy and like what. But because you don't know what it is, you just be like, and then it got to a point where in summer we had a fly infestation, and it's not like a couple flies, like a couple flies here and there. You would touch a plate on the strainer, phew, flies will just come when I tell you how irritating. Imagine imagine touching and then flies will just swarm everywhere. You press one thing to take the bin out, you open the bin, flies will come like, can you imagine? Is that a living environment? Is that how you want to live? Ask yourself these questions. And I'm not saying, oh, don't live with your friends. Like, I loved living with people that I knew, because like, you don't get lonely, and like the house is always like popping. Like, you'll come home, there's like, go knock on the door, like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like, it was fun. Like, don't get me wrong, it was fun. My flatmate, she was my nail tech. Girl was doing my nails on a cheap as well. Like, I enjoy, like, don't get me wrong, living with your friends and living with people is fun, but there was pros and there was cons. Moved to third year now. I said, listen, I'm done. I'm doing me. So, you know, I went on the internet, I was searching, and I was like, even if I cannot afford it, I will find a way to afford it. God will find a way for me to afford it. And you know what? That's what he did. That is a testimony in itself. But I'm grateful that I lived with other people, because in first year, like, I'm not gonna lie, in first year, live with other people, make friends. Like, the people that I met in first year at Regents, they were like lit people. Like, they were great people. And if you're in first year, like, don't be scared. Like, don't let this like be like, oh, uni horror story. Like, it's not, like, till this day I can laugh about it. Back then I wasn't laughing, but now I can laugh. The pros of living by yourself is obvious. You know, it's your own mess, clean up when you feel like it, or like everything is there. Like, the food that you left will be the food that you meet. The bed that you laid or you didn't lay is the bed that you will meet. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything is just clean. And the bathroom, you have your own bathroom. And if like you want to have your own space, but then you also want to live with people, there's bare different like ways you can look at it. You could have an ensuite So you have your own bathroom, but you share a kitchen with like your flatmates. That's a good alternative, like if like you're against if you're against sharing with people, or if you're like me and like you want your own space, but then you also want to be around your friends as well. Like, get accommodations right next to each other. Your friend can live in flat A, you'll live in flat B, my other friend will live upstairs. You know what I'm saying? Like, live near each other if that's another thing you want to do. So you don't necessarily have to be in each other's space, but you can still be around your friends. And yeah, like, that's my total experience of it. But what I'll leave you guys with is, do what's best for you. In first year, all I'd give you guys advice is, in first year, go for it. Go out your comfort zone, figure out what you like and do not like. If like you're in first year trying to make friends, live with people. Even though we're in this situation now, people are they'll still take your money. Like, they'll still happily say, come and live here. And if that's something that you want to do, like you want to move out of the house for a bit, because I promise you, like, you know, when you get out of mommy and daddy's roof, when you figure out like there's no bedtimes, there's no this, there's no that, you taste and see that it's sweet, and you know want to go back. That is what I'll leave you with. Anyways guys, I'm gonna leave it there. But if you guys enjoyed this video and you got some good tips out of it, and like you found it useful, then please, you know, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below as well, and you know, let's have a conversation, let's up the engagement, you know. So leave a comment, people, leave a comment, people. But yeah, so I hope you guys like this video, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.